everyone. My name is Tammy Resko. I'm a fertility life coach, Reiki practitioner, quantum healer, and fertility ambassador. I am so happy to be here with you today and holding this beautiful space with you during the session. Whether you're new to my world or a longtime member of Fertility Friends Foundation, as you are a grant recipient, I am so happy and honored that you're here to be with me during this educational session. I want you to know that this space that I'm holding for you today is a place full of compassion and understanding. So today for our session, I thought this would be a powerful piece of healing through your journey, and that is talking about forgiveness. And so fertility, your fertility journey asks so much of us, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And along the way, we often consume ourselves with so much pain and guilt and shame and resentment towards ourselves, others, or even towards the journey itself. And so, but I want to tell you what the truth is. The truth is you don't have to carry this weight alone anymore. You don't need to carry it anymore at all. You get to choose peace and you get to choose freedom through this process of healing. And forgiveness is crucial when going through your fertility journey. And I'm going to explain to you why that is. And so today we are going to begin with not forcing anything or rushing anything during this session, but I just want you to be open to receiving the information that I'm sharing with you, and to be open to healing. And so I invite you to participate in a way that feels good to you. Emotions may arise during our time together, and I want you to honor them. If you need to pause the video at any time, please feel free and come back to when you're feeling that you're ready for it. You are exactly where you need to be, and I want you to know that. So before we dive into this, I would love to hear from you guys in the chat, like where you're joining us from, because I know Fertility Friends Foundation supports many people across our beautiful country. And so I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. And I would also love to hear what is one word that describes how you're feeling currently right now. And so do that when you have time, when you're open to it, or if you feel like you want to, please do. I would love to read and to see that afterwards. So before we begin, I would just love us to take one deep breath in together. So breathe in through your nose, hold it, and exhale through the mouth. And this just helps you to be open to the space of healing. So let's talk about forgiveness and why this is important in our journey. So let's get into this. So during our fertility journey, we encounter so many obstacles and so many heartache. And so with that, it may come with receiving news that we weren't expecting, experiencing a failed cycle that didn't work out, medication that didn't respond well to our bodies, facing financial struggles, or even facing relationship struggles as well too, or carrying the heartbreak of not being pregnant when we envisioned it looking so differently. And so many of us never imagined that we would be here where we are today, months, even years trying to conceive. And I can't tell you countless times I felt this when I was struggling with my own journey through infertility for 12 years. Never thought that it was going to take me 12 years to get to where I am today. Yes, I have a beautiful, healthy baby, but I can't tell you countless times that I would be like, is this going to happen for me? What is wrong with me? I would question myself. I would carry so much emotion within my body. And so along the way, we, like I mentioned, carry so much pressure on ourselves. We carry the pain in our bodies and in our hearts. And so this pain comes from the journey itself, our bodies not performing the way we want it to, relationships strained by this experience, disappointment from people that hurt us or that we trusted, or even our own internal dialogue of shame, of guilt, of anger, of resentment. And all of this emotion that we carry can become stuck inside of us. Now, I want you to think of the word emotion. The word emotion holds the truth. It says it all. It says motion, energy in motion. Our emotions are meant to move and be released. We shouldn't be holding our emotions within ourselves or suppress them or keep them down and not feel them. And I know personally how scary it can be when we do have big emotions that come up, or emotions that come up very often in our fertility journey. I can't tell you countless times I was like, okay, I'm feeling so frustrated right now, or so angry right now, or I'm hurt. And I was like, okay, I don't have time to feel this feeling right now, or this emotion. I'm just going to put it aside and continue going, or I'm going to continue going on to my next cycle. And so this is why I want you to feel your emotions and to tell you that it's okay to feel your emotions. I want you to feel your emotions. It's actually better for you because you're then not holding the pain or the anger, the frustration, the hurt, the shame, all of it inside your body. That is not going to cause, it's not going to serve you or do any good for you by holding on to this. And so our emotions are meant to move and be released. This is why, as humans, we're supposed to feel our emotions. This is what helps us to have experiences, the good emotion and the bad emotion. And so, unfortunately, in our fertility journey, there might be more heavy emotion that we're carrying than more of the positive emotion. But forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways that we can set this energy free. And in doing so, we open space for peace to heal and to start a new life where we feel not so defeated in our journey, but to feel renewed, to feel confident moving forward in our fertility journey. And so, why does forgiveness matter in your journey? Well, there are a number of reasons that I'm going to share with you. And so, number one is the emotional release. When struggling with infertility, a lot of times we are triggered by the guilt, resentment, the anger that we feel towards ourselves, our partner, our bodies, our doctor, our support team, our family members, our friends. And so forgiveness allows us to feel these emotions so that they can be released, so that you can return to a place of hope and emotional strength. Because, like I mentioned, holding on to these emotions is not going to serve you in any way whatsoever. It's going to cause more harm than good for you. The second reasoning of why forgiveness matters is it's the stress reduction. Unresolved emotions create chronic stress in our bodies. That then impacts our hormonal balance, our respiratory health, and forgiveness calms our nervous system. It promotes emotional and physical well-being. And so we already carry so much stress of our fertility journey, of so much of the unknown, not knowing what the next couple of days are going to look like, the week, the 2 weeks, the month. We don't even know what the year is going to, or what's going to come up next. We're constantly feeling tension within our bodies. We're constantly wondering what is going to be the next thing. And so stress is not going to help us. And so by holding this emotion and finding ways to forgive ourselves will help reduce that stress so that your body can feel calmer, your nervous system can feel calmer. And so the third reasoning is relationship healing. When struggling with infertility, it can it can really strain our relationship with our partner, our loved ones, but especially with ourselves. And so forgiveness fosters the compassion and the reconnection that you can build with your partner, with your loved ones, with your medical team, and especially with yourself. And the fourth reason why forgiveness matters is because it's the spiritual alignment. If you view your fertility journey as a spiritual path, or this is something that there's a greater meaning behind this, forgiveness is essential to aligning with trusting, surrendering, and to be opened to the flow of what is meant to be. And the fifth one, the last one, is inner peace and self-love. And so forgiveness brings peace and closes the emotional loops that we go through. And it's allowing you to move forward so that you can feel lighter, stronger, and more open to receiving. And you're probably wondering, well, forgiveness is hard. Absolutely, forgiveness is hard. I can't tell you countless times that when I was going through my journey that I was like, I don't know if I can forgive this doctor. And I saw like 6 different doctors during my journey. And so I can't tell you countless times that I had so much anger and frustration towards them for not listening to me, that they weren't advocating for like I was advocating for myself, but they weren't respecting that. Or, lack of communication with nurses or my medical team, or me just feeling like I was a number being pushed out of an appointment quickly to move on to the next patient. I can't tell you countless times that I felt unheard, unwanted, and just being a number. Or the countless times that I felt that I hated my body. Like, why was my body not doing what it needed to do? Why was it not responding to the medication? Why was it not functioning the way it's supposed to be? And that's just some of my examples of why forgiveness was hard. But when I looked at it into a little bit deeper, and to have a bit of a deeper understanding of it, when I was going through my own personal fertility journey and my own healing, was that many of us struggle with forgiveness because of early programming. So as children, you think about it, when growing up as children, if you did something and someone went and told a parent, oh, so-and-so did this to me, you were told you had to say sorry. We weren't really, speaking for me, I was never really modeled sincerely how to apologize. Or if you didn't apologize, your consequence was, we're going to leave if you don't apologize. So it was very forced upon us. And so saying sorry or learning to forgive was never really modeled to us at an early age growing up. And so as adults, that triggers into us, and like us having a hard time learning to forgive people, situations, or in this example, our bodies and our journey. And so the truth is, you're not forgiving the individual or the situation. You're forgiving so that you are free. You're forgiving for you. So if you're having a hard time forgiving either your medical doctor, your fertility doctor, or your nurse, or your partner, or family member, or just your body, remember that you are forgiving for you. Forgiving, when you forgive, it's helping you to set that energy free. So that energy is not staying stuck inside of you, the anger, the frustration, the bitterness, the pain, the hurt, all of that. If I ask you, if I had to ask you right now, what would feel better to you? Would it feel better to feel anger, frustration, resentment? Or would it feel better to feel peace, to have a sense of control, and to feel confident in your journey? Think about that for a second. Which of those scenarios would feel better for you? I know personally, I wouldn't want to choose anger or frustration because it's not serving me. It wasn't serving me in my own personal journey. I can't tell you countless times I carried on the anger, the frustration, the resentment, the bitterness, the hurt. But when I took time to reflect and do inner work to really understand my journey and to realize that this energy, this pain that I'm holding, this frustration, this anger, this bitterness, resentment, this guilt, it's not serving me in my journey at all. So what can I do to change that? Or what would it look like if I did feel peace, if I did learn to let go, if I did learn to forgive? So that, what would it feel like? What would it look like? Well, it would look like I would feel peace. I would feel like I was in control, and I would feel confident. I wouldn't allow that emotion to hold on to me, to have this power over me, because it wasn't serving me at all in my journey. So the question is we ask ourselves is, well, where do we begin self-forgiveness? So where do we begin to forgive? Well, the first thing I truly believe in, and this is my opinion, is that we have to come from a place of forgiving ourselves first. We matter and our journey matters. And there's already so much pain that we already feel in our journey, and so much disappointment, so much heaviness that we carry within ourselves, that we sometimes lose ourselves in our journey. And so the first place I would start with is learning to forgive yourself, because we already carry so much pressure, we already carry so much pain and resentment towards ourselves, and so much blame, that should be the first place we start with, because the journey starts with you. Your mind, your body, and your spirit. You are all one. And you matter in your journey. Exactly where you are right now. Your journey shouldn't define you. It's not who you are. It's just part of your story. And so we start off by forgiving ourselves, forgiving for blaming yourself for not focusing enough on family planning, or thinking that, we should have done more, or I should have done more, or how we judged and shamed our bodies, or for even doubting our path. This is a path that none of us imagined that we would ever go through when we talked about or think about family planning. Some of us it may have only been the only option, and that's okay too, if that's in your case. If this was the only option you had, was to go through fertility treatments. But in the meantime, there was probably a little bit of hurt, a little bit of pain, going through it. And so there might be a piece of it that there is forgiveness that needs to be done towards you or towards others or the journey itself. So when you work on forgiving yourself, you do a little bit of that inner work, which I'm going to talk about a little bit soon and explain to you a little bit further. Then the next piece to look at is, what else do I need to forgive? Do I need to forgive my fertility journey itself? My medical professionals? People that said hurtful things or given advice that's not necessary. I can't tell you countless times I've been given advice that wasn't needed to say. And when I left an event, I was heartbroken. Or I've gone to the bathroom and cried because of something that someone said to me. And I carry that with me. So is it something like that? Is it a friend who became pregnant so easily and wasn't aware or considered your feelings of what you were going through, or didn't even know what your journey was going through, or what you were going through right currently, but they shared that they were pregnant, and that was devastating and heartbreaking to you? Is it that you need to forgive that friend for not being considerate? Or on the spiritual side, is it that you need to forgive God, the universe, source, creator, mother nature, whatever you may believe in? But these are things to think about, because all of this affects your body. Because we have to look at ourselves and say, like, if there's something that's not serving me, or an energy or a feeling that is not serving me, why am I holding on to it? What good is it doing for me in my journey? And so I have my own personal forgiveness practice that I like to follow. And there's 3 steps that I want to share with you. And so the first step we're going to talk about is called accept. That's the first step. And what I mean by accept is we accept what has happened. We accept that this may not have, that you may not know how to resolve this. And that's okay, because we're not going to have all the answers to our journey, or not know why certain things are not happening. We may not get all the answers, but we have to come from a place of acceptance, and accepting that this is my journey, this is my story. But also reflecting and asking yourself, what am I finding difficult to accept? Is it my journey? Is it my body? Is it an individual? Or is it a situation that didn't work out the way you imagined it, or it failed to be? If it was a failed cycle of IVF or IUI or timed intercourse, or was it, for me, an example was I had to accept my body, and I needed to accept that this was my journey. That at the time my body wasn't doing what it needed to do, and I needed assistance. I needed to go on a medication, and that this was my journey, that there was male factor and female factor. I had to accept that this was our path to creating a family. I needed to come to terms and accept it, as opposed to fighting against it. because when I was fighting against it, it wasn't doing any good for me. I just kept getting more frustrated and more agitated. At one point, I even lost myself. And I had to go inwards and I needed to do the work and say, Tammy, like, okay, let me accept this. Because what is the worst thing that's going to happen by you accepting? Nothing. You've come to terms with it. You've accepted it. You've come to understand that this is part of your journey. And there might be steps in between that you're having to take. And yes, it wasn't something that you imagined, but it's here. And so when I came to terms in accepting my body and my journey, it helped me come from a place of compassion and grace towards myself. And this is where I looked at my journey and my body and saying that this is happening for me, not to me. And what I mean by that is this is happening for me, not to me, was that I was learning about my body. I know my body so well right now. It is incredible. Or I learned parts of me that I didn't even know I had. I didn't even know the inner strength that I had, or the resilience or the confidence that I had it within myself, or the voice. I was never a type of person to really advocate for myself. I was very much, I would just say yes to everything or to anything or to anyone when it came to like work or in my personal life. I would always put my feelings aside. And this journey allowed me to learn to, speak my truth, advocate for myself, because at the end of the day, this is my body, this is my journey. And so this is what I mean by this is happening for me, not to me, is looking at your journey through a different set of lens of what is it teaching you, what is it helping you to grow. There's always something for us to learn, to grow from. And so that is what I mean by accepting what has happened, meaning that you can accept that this is your story, this is your journey, and accepting knowing that you may not know how to resolve it, and that's okay. The second practice the step that I follow that's helped me is called find the good. And what do I mean by that is finding the beauty in the tragedy. And so for me, my example that I'm going to share with you is when I had my miscarriage in 2018. I was heartbroken. I think at this point we were, 8 years in our fertility journey. And so I was so excited, so happy that this finally happened. But we had an early miscarriage. And so I was in such a dark spot. And I needed to see the light again. And I had to ask myself this question. And the question that I asked myself was, what good came from this experience, Tammy? What did you learn from this? And how have you grown, or how can you grow from this? And when I spent time with myself and I asked myself these questions during my miscarriage and giving myself time to grieve, I said, okay, Tammy, so find the beauty in the tragedy. Well, I got to experience unconditional love, even for that short period of time. I got to feel like a mom. I got to love and nurture that beautiful baby, which I call my spirit baby. I got to connect with my baby. I got to be a mom in that short period of time. I got to feel that unconditional love. I got to feel that joy. And I got to learn to be compassionate towards myself, not to be so hard on myself, allowing myself to heal, giving myself time. And so that's what I mean by finding the beauty in the tragedy. There's always something beautiful. It's a matter of us looking it through a different set of lens. And the last one, number 3, I call let go and be free. And this is where we learn to surrender our situation to God, source, universe, Mother Nature, whatever you may believe in. But this is where we surrender. And why this is important is because in our fertility journey, we can't control everything. There's so many things that are that are completely out of our control. And this is where we have to learn to surrender and to trust. And what I mean by trust is you trusting yourself, you're trusting that intuition, that voice, that gut feeling that you get inside of you. That's you talking, that is your inner or higher self speaking to you. We always hold the answers, and we all know what feels right and wrong. And it's that feeling or that voice that we get inside our body. And that is where, when we get those gut feelings and we're like, and we question ourselves, like, is this the way to do it? Should I go this way? What would be the right decision? This is where we quiet ourselves and go within. This is where we surrender. This is where we try to listen to that voice inside of us to see what direction we should go and make that decision and then let it be. I know it's hard. I've been there, but it'll help you feel more free, as much as it's scary. But there's a little bit of control that we have to let go of. And one of the other things that I do with this last step, and I'm going to give you some tools to help you as well, but we'll go into that a little bit further. I want you to now think about this. If you had to forgive, or if you are waiting for an apology from a doctor, from a nurse, a family member, your spouse, or you're waiting to, for your body to respond well to medication, you're going to be waiting for a long time. And what I mean by that is that you're giving away your power. You go first. You choose to set yourself free. So you have to come from a place to forgive. And forgive doesn't mean that you have to continue with that same doctor, continue with that same nurse, but you can advocate for yourself, or you can express to your partner how you're feeling, or to a family member, or if it's to your body. You can nurture your body. You can love yourself again. But if that's hard, that means that you need to come from a place of forgiveness. It means you have to look at yourself and work on that. Love your body again, if that's something that you feel like you need to forgive. Or if it's, like I mentioned, the individuals or your situation, you have to ask yourself, how do you want to lead yourself in your journey? Do you want to lead yourself with pain, or do you want to lead yourself with peace? So think about that. So I want to share some tools with you that's helped me and has helped my clients. And so there's 2 exercises that I'm going to share with you, or 2 tools that you can use. And so the first one is called a forgiveness letter. And I want you to write a letter to, if it's to whoever it may be, if it's to your medical team, to a family member, a friend, if it's to yourself, to your body, to your journey, to God, source, creator, whatever it may be. I want you to write a letter. And so I'm going to give you some phrases that you can start with. And then after that, I want you to write it on your own. So I'm going to give you some phrases that you can start with, and I want you to finish it. And so first off, you can say, dear, whatever it may be, dear body, dear medical doctor, whoever it may be, I want you to say, dear, blah, blah, blah. Then I want you to start off by saying, I forgive you for, and you finish the rest of the sentence. So here are some that I have for you. I forgive you for your ignorance. I forgive you for what you did not know. I forgive you for not knowing how to. I forgive myself for holding on to this pain for so long. I release you. You have no power over me. I set you free. I forgive you for ... And you fill in, you finish the rest of it. Once you're done writing your letter, I want you to either burn it or rip it or destroy the letter. Somehow I want you got to destroy the letter. And why this is important is because destroying this letter is a symbolic way of you letting go of that anger, that frustration, that bitterness, the shame, the guilt, whatever it may be that's holding inside of you. It symbolically means you're letting it go. You will feel lighter and you will feel a sense of peace when you visualize and you see that letter being ripped or burnt and you're just watching it go away. You may have to do this a few times, but writing that letter, and especially with like expressive writing, it helps you let go of whatever's in your mind or whatever's in your heart, and you're just letting it all out on paper. It's almost like you're imagining saying it to that person or to the situation, or you're saying it to yourself or to your body. But you're letting it go, feeling free. Some journal prompts that you can do as well too, if journaling is something that's, that works for you, is journaling a few of these reflecting questions. And so one of them could be, who or what do I need to forgive in this journey? What am I finding difficult to accept? What good or lesson have I gained from this experience? And how will my life feel differently after forgiveness? And the third tool I want to share with you is called EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique. It is a technique that focuses on different acupuncture points that help release some built up energy within our body. And I'm going to guide you through this. And so I want you to typically do this 5 times, like 5 rounds. But for today, for this purpose of the session, I'm just going to do it once for you to show you, but I want you to do it 5 times. And so I'm going to show you the points. So the points that we're going to start off is on the side of your hand, which is the karate chop point. So you're just going to tap like that. And then the next point is your eyebrow. Then it's the side of your eye, under your eye, under your nose, your chin, collarbone, under your armpit, and the top of your head. So those are the points to tap. Now, I'm going to read the phrases to you, but I want you then to do this on your own 5 rounds, all the way to the top of your head. So the top of your head is that would be your you ending your first round. Okay. So we're going to start by the karate chop. Even though I'm holding on to this pain, I honor how I feel and I choose to release it. Even though I'm struggling to forgive, I honor my experience and I'm open to healing. I forgive myself for carrying this pain. I forgive my body for what it cannot control. I forgive the situation for not being what I wanted it to be. I choose peace. I choose freedom. I choose forgiveness now. I am safe. I am healing. I am free. So you're going to do that, repeating the same phrases that I just said, and you're going to do that 5 rounds. And once you're done, you will feel a sense of lightness and peace feeling over you. You'll feel your body feeling a lot calmer. So I want you to take a moment right now to check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling right now after we've explored this today. Rather, if you're feeling a small shift or a big release, I want you to trust whatever came up for you is being part of your healing journey. Remember, forgiveness is a practice. It's unfolding layer by layer, and that's okay, and it may take time, but it's a practice that I want you to start doing. Be gentle with yourself. Be proud of yourself for showing up today and doing the inner work. I want you to know that you deserve peace, you deserve joy, you deserve freedom in your body, in your heart, and in your spirit. I also just want to mention that if you are looking for any additional support, just know that you don't need to walk this path alone. You can always reach out to me through the room in Burlington in Ontario, or you can email me directly at Tammy, Tammy, .resko at RESKO at thewomb.ca. And I am here to support you as you continue moving forward in your journey. So before we close, I want us to just take a deep breath in together. Hold it and let it out. I want to take this moment to say thank you again for being here, for being courageous, for being vulnerable, and for your openness. I want you to know that you are so loved, you are so worthy, and you are enough just as you are. I'm sending you guys all love and light.